Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Scale Gap podcast. It's been a while, but it is what it is, the holiday season. So, from both myself and Persian, we wish you guys all a happy new year. We hope that, things change if you've had a tough 2020, and that if you didn't enjoy FIFA in 2020, that hopefully in 2022 it'll be good, because in 2021 we're not, it's going to be tough. We need the next FIFA. Anyways, Persian, how's it going?
Good, man. Good. How are you?
I'm great, dude. I'm great. Obviously, it's a Monday. We're recording on a Monday, and we'll probably upload this today as well. Just coming off of weekend league of the year of New Year's, and I played all my games yesterday. So it was an absolute disaster. Not in terms of result. Result was fine. It was in the mean of my usual results, but I won't spoil it for anyone who watches the Weekend Warrior episodes. It was just the stress of playing 30 in a row was way too much. Like I haven't played 30 in a row, I think maybe ever. I think the last time I played a whole weekend league in one was 40 game format, and that was easier. So I'm very on edge today. No, I've calmed down now, but I was on edge yesterday during the stream, and we have some juicy topics, because before we get into our weekend league experiences, because I know you've been playing a little bit too. EA recently released a new set of icon swaps. If you don't know what that is, you play basically complete objectives, gather tokens, and then you can use these tokens to redeem icon packs or icons or whatever. They're all crap icons, but whatever. First round that they came out, the community found a way to get through them really quickly, because they would match in this mode dedicated for these objectives, and first goal win was kind of like the unspoken rule that you did not have to follow, but most people did, so you could get through them really quickly. You're 1-0 down in 5 minutes, get out. Play the next one, you score first, you get your game, blah, blah, blah. So naturally, the second round just came out, and as easily it was predicted, there were changes made to the objectives that pretty much made it impossible or harder to do the golden rule. And so we wanted to start off with that. In general, just like before we dive into it, what was your initial reaction when the new swaps objectives came out?
I mean, like you said, we predicted it pretty much, right? Because EA is EA, and they have to do whatever they can to go against the community. And this is literally something that was decided by the community, and it made the whole objective so much more enjoyable. You remember us going through this last year, and I had the worst time doing those objectives. Obviously, we do them in Div 1, and we had the worst time doing them there. And this year, I wasn't looking forward to it. And as I played, I actually said, this is probably the most fun I've had in FIFA in a long time. So the fact that they went out of their way to do what they did just rubs me the wrong way, man. It really does. I don't know.
I mean,
Go ahead.
yeah, go. I get it, and I saw a lot of people get angry about the changes, because it was kind of reminded me of the squad battles glitch change. So if you didn't know, once you score 5 goals in squad battle, or even one, it really depends. The only reason you would score 5 goals is to max out your points. But there was a glitch in squad battles where you could do a fake shot and let the time run out, so you didn't have to play. You could watch a TV show or do something else. And so at that point, you might wonder, why are you even playing squad battles in the first place? Well, in FIFA Ultimate Team, you either spend money or spend time to get a good team. And that was kind of one of the methods. You can't not spend money and not spend time. It's then
If you're on a road to glory, you have to.
Yeah. So like the whole just don't play a mode if you don't like it. Well, then don't release a game mode where I have to play it or spend money. Give me a third option. Where's my third option? There is no third option. But they fixed that, and so everyone's like, why? Because everyone who wanted to play squad battles seriously was able to. But now, we're all forced to play it seriously like them. So it was just a bit weird.
Everything they do makes me think of on Twitter, when people keep saying, like, the meme when they keep replying who asked, like, anyone that says something, some random guy will be in the reply saying who asked. Well,
yeah.
This is literally what you could say to EA on everything they do. Like, who asked you to fix that? Like, it was literally just something that made squad battles like bearable, like, and who asked them to fucking change the like the icon swaps objectives. Like, I don't understand why they have to go against like everything. I mean, I do, because they want not as many people to get these objectives because they're easy objectives. But the problem is when you put this in friendlies, it actually felt like a friendly this time around because it
It
just
did.
felt like lighthearted fun. It just felt like lighthearted fun. Like it wasn't sweaty. People weren't like there were a couple sweats, but there will always be a couple sweats. But for the most part, people were just chilling. Like you were breezing through these objectives because it was just not that sweaty. And now what they've done is with the cap, like obviously for people like us it won't be an issue, but for a lot of people it will become an issue because it becomes more sweaty and maybe they won't have enough games to finish their objectives or whatever. So I don't know, man. It's just so out of touch. Like they're so out of touch with their community, and they just deliberately try to sabotage us instead of like facilitating us basically.
For
So
this
I
one
just don't get it.
specifically, I'm on your side. Obviously, like I agree. I didn't like the changes, but I'm not even excusing anyone here. I'm just saying that unlike I feel like the squad battles one had no excuse. Like there's absolutely no excuse. This probably doesn't have an excuse either. But like the squad battles skip fix, like literally who asked? Like that's not an issue. There's so many issues in this game. That's not one of them. But the for this one, I can see how certain
I kind
things
of
created
disagree, to be
like,
honest. I
but
disagree with your take here because if you talk about squad battles, like I don't disagree that they fixed it, but they could say technically it's a glitch. Like they could say it's a glitch that the game's not supposed to work that way.
true.
But us doing a golden goal is not a glitch. That's something just we just decided on. Like it happened. Like I don't even know how it existed. Like it just turned up. People decided on it and it happened. Like it
Yeah.
spread like wildfire. So that's something the community decided, and for them to go out of their way to make the objective different so we can't do that is different than them fixing a glitch in my opinion. And I still agree with you, they shouldn't have done that because like I said it made squad battles bearable, so but whatever. Like
But then
I don't.
what do you say to those who are like, what do you even play FIFA for if, or why do you even play these, or like what's the point of these objectives if you don't want to play them? Like
They're
that.
objectives. Like I don't play objectives to like. Let's be real, man. A lot of people, most people, find FIFA fun for the squad building or whatever. Like you build your team, and usually because like recent years, the game's been in such a terrible state that actually playing the game isn't as much fun as you would want it to be. So doing objectives with players you don't want to play with is not a fun experience. Like I'm just gonna be real on that. That's just my take on it anyway. I don't have fun playing with 60 pace center backs and waiting for the through ball, and it's just not fun, man. Like
Yeah, for sure. So that's why I, well, like if the game was good, I would kind of understand the point of people being like, why are you imposing
absolutely.
this golden goal on us? Like we want to play the game. If you don't like it, don't play it, sort of thing. But they're kind of like reversing the chain of events. Like they're making it sound like the game is good and we got burnt out, and so now we want objectives to be easy. But in reality, it's more like the game is bad. You're expecting us to grind 60 games for a chance of a decent card, not even a guarantee of a decent card, and you're getting mad at us because
More
we found a
likely
way to
not.
make it fun, right?
Yeah.
Like we have to make it fun in order to do that. Now, I didn't necessarily play by the swaps, or the golden goal rule. I actually had two runs at it, one on my main account and then one on my second account, and they both took me like around an hour and a half, 2 hours to do 30 games, which was insane because everyone was just quitting on me. And so, statistically speaking, I'll always go 1-0 up. But in the games that I didn't go 1-0 up, I just kept playing because like I was streaming. I was like, whatever, I'm not in a rush. So it is what it is. But I saw a lot of people get mad, and this created a huge divide because there were the people who were like, I just want to play. And then those people who were doing the golden goal were calling the people who were playing toxic. Like, who would you call toxic in this situation? Is it toxic to go 1-0 down, or to go 1-0 up, then leave at 1-1? Is that toxic for you because you're
Yeah.
playing the golden goal and your opponent isn't?
the thing is, what the people, like the goal and goal people, needed to realize as well, that not everyone was new about this rule. Like, it's not like because they know, everyone knows, you know. Like, the FIFA community is huge. Like, you can't just assume that people just know about this. And even if they do, they don't have to abide by those rules. I didn't mind when people didn't quit. I minded when people didn't quit after like 4-0, but I didn't mind when they didn't quit after 1-0. It was like half and half for me. If I got kickoff like right off the bat, I wouldn't quit because I could gauge an opponent, and I knew I would win that game in the end. Like, if I would get kickoff, I wouldn't quit. But if I would go 2-0 down, it was like I didn't care enough to stay in the game. I would just leave unless someone was pausing me. What the worst thing? This is an advice for anyone listening. The worst thing you could do in those situations is pause someone and force them to go out. Because I will not go out, and I will give my all to win that game. Like, don't pause me, man. I hate that. I hate that so much.
I
Like,
had
just
that a couple of those where like they would
I want to
pause
quit.
on
I'll
me,
quit.
and because they paused, I came back from like a 2-0 deficit,
Yeah,
and I was
yeah,
like,
hundred
I'm not
percent.
leaving.
I
Let me
did that like
leave.
4 times. Like, it just triggers me so much that I'm gonna try as hard as I can, like, to win that game.
Yeah, for sure. And I was the same. I never got mad at anyone not leaving. And if it was 5-0, I did think, why are we here? But hey, man, you want to chill? Let's chill. But what did piss me off was the people who would leave when I would tie the score. I was
Yeah,
like, bro,
that
let's
didn't
play it
happen to me
out,
a lot,
bro.
to be honest. Like, once or twice, but yeah, that happened to you more often than
I
me.
had I had people leaving at 0-0. Like imagine them leaving before anyone scoring because they know you're clocking
Yeah,
them. Like just
yeah,
score the
yeah,
own goal, dude. Just
yeah. Just super
leave.
toxic. Like, you'll always have those people. That was worse, like, last year to me. Like, that happened to me so many times last year, and I was losing my mind. Like, when you do that in Div Rivals, and like it's already a struggle to get through those games, and people do that like after like 80 minutes, like, you just lose your mind. I was so angry. I've never been more angry than the icon swaps last year. I was
Dude,
screaming.
for context sake, last year everything that we do this year in friendlies was in division rivals. And last year,
Yeah.
division rivals was even harder than it is to now. It's like a double whammy. Right now, I mean, it depends on your skill rating, but I'm also noticing a lot more people getting like to division one. I think overall, in general, the matchmaking in division rivals this year is more lenient, and even more so if you're a division one player, because it's like a double effect. Because in division one this year, once you get to 2,000 skill rating or 2,200, which is lower than what I'm at, it doesn't matter whether you're 3,000 or 2,200 or 2,000, you're on the same pool. And
Yeah.
so last year, where I was getting to like 26, 27, 2,800, and the year before that, I was strictly matching people at 26, 27, or 2,800 in a game that even had stricter matchmaking. So every game was against Elite 1 players. Every single game. Finding a pro was so easy. So in terms of, I actually prefer that for Rivals if Rivals is a game with zero objectives, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But because they had objectives last year, I couldn't believe we went a year with that. Like looking back, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And I was one of those that at the end cancel me, dude. Cancel me everywhere. I dropped to Division 8 or 9. I was like, I've had enough. You try completing objectives against people who have no interest in completing objectives because they're the best in the game. They spent 10,000 grand and they don't need icon swap Butragueño. So like, nah, man, that was crazy last year. And um, it's a good segue into this comment because I responded to a tweet about this. Some guy on Twitter was like talking about it. He was like, he had the controversial opinion that the requirements and the changes weren't half bad because at the end of the day, good players should be rewarded and that swaps should be competitive, and that you have to reward the better players for being better and therefore getting the better icons. And I remember I responded to him, this is so wrong because I didn't even mention the whole competitive aspect because like not everything in foot should be competitive. Like hardly anything should be. But and I
Agreed.
agree that good players should get rewarded, but we have weekend league for that.
Yep.
Like at the end of the day, it's called Ultimate Team, and everyone should have a right to earn a good icon. And plus, we're not even earning anything good. Like this guy's whole point was that you could change your team with a good pack, and I was like, yeah, you could, theoretically,
You could do that by opening a gold pack by like if that's your logic. Like you could change your team with any pack you open. So by that logic, like that's out the window. Man. I agree completely. Like the whole everything has to be competitive and everything has to be for the best players is nonsense because at that point, like who are the best players? That's the 1%. So the rest of the people aren't allowed to have a good time. Like just you. Like come on, man.
yeah, and Weekend League used to
I
be
think
enough
that's
to
nonsense.
satiate the
Yeah,
best players, but they destroyed
absolutely.
that, right? So now they're like going into every no swap should be like
But
for
like,
what?
why do they like if you're such a good player, why do you need the advantage over other people? You know, like why is that necessary? Why can't you have a good time and let them have a good time too? Like it's just I just don't get the whole. It's just for the best players. Swaps is literally for everyone, man. Like if you're
Yeah.
talking about rewards in weekend league and doing well, sure, I agree with that. You're doing the best, you should get the best. But swaps, come on, they're literally objectives. Like, come on. No,
And
I that's nonsense.
I agree for the best players, but that's again only strictly for Weekend League, which
Yeah,
for years now hasn't done crap. But like it just I couldn't understand it because it kind of would be a point if for the max amount of swaps you get R9, right? At that point I'm like, okay, we can't have everyone running around with R9, okay? But like what for we're talking about being competitive for what? Suker, Vidic, or the pack that I got that gave me a what did I get? I got I can't
ninety
remember what
percent of the time you get an unusable icon. At least if you have a half decent team or you wanna actually have like a meta team, most of the icons are like not usable at this point. Like
dude, I must have
they won't
opened
make your team. Like
50, 60 icon packs by my own volition last year just through grinding. You opened another like I don't even know how many. We had that video on the channel where you spent 12 million coins.
I don't even want
Nothing.
to think about it anymore.
Nothing. So like this whole the best player like the best players would be guaranteed disappointment. That's all they get guaranteed if we were the
Yep.
only ones who could complete that. But now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about the actual gameplay experiences we've had recently. Now, there's been a lot of patches this year. Now we haven't had one in a while because holiday season. So I'm guessing like they're taking holidays there over there too. Which in a way for me it's fine because like there's no patch. People talk about patches. For me, there's no patch that can help this game anymore. Like it's not about tinkering the step over or the bridge or the fundamentals are just disgusting. Like it's so, and they have been disgusting for ages. How's your week in the experience been?
I mean, I've been on the goal 3 grind for a while. I just stop at 14 wins. Like I just don't care enough to put myself through the grind of getting whatever like elite or whatever. Like it's just pointless. Like you're just playing the same player over and over again. Everyone's gonna try and sweat it out. Like even like it used to be a breeze for me to get to 14 wins and like I would close my eyes and get to 14 and 0. Nowadays even getting to 14 and 0, 14 nowadays it's like 14 and 1 or 14 and 2. Like I just don't care. I don't even care, but like everyone's sweating and everyone gives you a game. Like this game I was like I can't imagine you like just from playing until 14, I was burnt out on Weekend League because I sat there just thinking to myself while playing yesterday. Every time I try to intercept the ball, I put my CDM in the passing lane, and I see my opponent looking at my CDM, still playing that pass, and it still goes through. I slowly but surely lose my mind as that happens every single time. Like I actually lose my mind. And I was thinking, like, what am I playing right now? I'm actually sitting there saying to myself, like, what am I playing and why am I doing this to myself? Like I just lose my mind. Like it defies all reason. Like this game defies all reason. And they have to like you said, patches aren't gonna fix this game. Patches will make it more bearable, but this game needs to be rebuilt from the ground up, man. This game is so trash. Like it's crazy. It's so bad.
They had like it sounds harsh, but they had the audacity to say that they reworked passing from the ground up. No, you haven't. It's the same examples year in, year out. If anything, it could have gotten worse in some aspects because now we have the through balls from like 90 yards as well. But like, this is insane. And to give context, like for example, this weekend I had to play 30 in one in day, but it doesn't matter if I play 30 in one day. The first 15 will take me anywhere between 2 and 3.5 hours, right? So that's pretty good pace. If that was my pace for the whole 30, I'd finish in like 4 hours 5, which is good for like 30 games, especially when elo gets harder. Now a lot of people will say it's normal for the last 15 to get harder because elo is ramping up. First of all, it's just not that like Weekend League is not that difficult. It's not. It's what's difficult is that the skill ceiling is so low now that it becomes difficult. Obviously, this is hard to explain in a way where you don't sound horrible, like you should be.
You don't want to sound elitist, but it's
yeah.
just your experience. You're just talking about your experience.
In my experience, after every Weekend League and every FIFA, there comes a point where all of a sudden you're always gonna have hard games against people who are a lot lower than you, and that's happened every year. But the difference now is that like every game, and to make those games easy, you have to do certain things that I don't do. Now, I had a game, like I have so many examples of this, man. I had a game this weekend against some guy with some esports thing, right? In his name, so like, oh look, he's good. He's got esports. He's a good player, right? He's a good player. He's like he'll get like 20 wins, 22 wins, so that's like gold 1. Okay, and he's in a really small esports team naturally because at this point, if you're not getting Elite 1 or top 200, you're not going to be in like a good esports. I'm in no esports team, and I hit mostly Elite 1 this year. So I'm playing this guy who gets 2-3 ranks below me, and I'm feeling like I'm way better than him, and I destroy him, but the game's hard, and so I narrowly win, and I make a comeback to win it. He messages me after, saying, he said something about GG, man, you're really good, but the script ramped up there. And like in my head, I'm laughing, right? Because there was no script when he came back from a 2-goal deficit against me, right? But I overcome a 1-goal deficit, all of a sudden scripting appears. I'm like, that's funny. That's really funny. But the funniest part was like, I was like, scripting, dog, you're not touching me unless you turn on team press. And he's like, I never turned it on. You're the one who turned it on. And I was like, bro, you're lying. Like, these people are lying.
This was on stream, mind you. Everyone could see that he turned on team press. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to be able to tell if someone turns on team press or not, which is what made it even more hilarious that like more than 100 people saw him press like team press you, and he just tried to convince you otherwise.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, you think I was like?" He made the point. "Oh, you think that was pressing?" And I even complimented you, bro. Learn how to play, like sort of saying, "If you think that's me activating team press, well, you have no idea what manual." I was like, "Dude, come on, man! Like, you're like, please." The best pro players in the world won't be able to manually team press, but this guy, man, this guy can, you know. Yeah, for Huge sure. Gorilla can't team press like he used to, but this guy's hitting gold 1. Gorilla's hitting top 1 in the world, but he does it better than Gorilla somehow. Like, okay, so these games are like, and they're every weekend. The last 15 games this weekend took me 5 hours. 5 hours. I was there thinking it would be a 2.5-hour job, and it was double the time. And by the end of it, I'm absolutely destroyed. There's no reason for those games to be difficult, and you might say, Stallion, just adapt and play the meta. And the thing is, I won't. I will still play football, and I wouldn't even need bridges and stepovers if I could just cut a fucking passing lane. If I could just intercept your passes, at the very least, I'm winning every game 1-0 or something. Like, I'm cutting in half the goals I concede, and statistically speaking, I'm winning so many more. That alone is enough. But, you know, you can't do either. You can't cut passing lanes, and you can't score normal goals. So my answer in the future is going to be there's going to be changes for Weekend League and how I play, how many I finish, and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be much more selective with how many I play and all that stuff.
This, you know, the thing, this game has actually defeated me, man. Like, I'm actually, like, it just destroyed every little bit of competitive, like, nature I have. Because, you know, if you're planning to go to 14 wins like it doesn't even matter whether you go 14-0 or 14-16 by that point, right? But
Yeah.
still, you know how I am. I always wanted to like keep a clean sheet and go 14-0. Now I just don't care anymore. I literally don't care anymore. I'll have games where like it's just someone's trying so hard. I'll just leave. I'll just be like, whatever, man. Peace. I just literally don't care anymore. I'm past the point of caring about this game anymore, and I'll just get my 14 wins and dip, man. Like I just don't care.
I'm scared
Like
to reach
I've never been
that level, dude, because I get so fuming when I lose a game now. And I always have, and I always will, unless like I knew like there's a different type of fuming. I used to get fuming like mad at myself. I was like, damn it, bro. Like I didn't execute everything that I've worked on. Now I get mad because I couldn't do what I wanted. I feel like I'm playing at 10% of my potential. Now that's not to say if they make a good game, all of a sudden I'm number one in the world. I'm saying as soon as they make a good game, everyone who's causing me issues now will not, and then everyone who quit because the game is garbage will come back and they will be my new hard games, and I'm fine with that.
Yep.
You know, I want those hard games to be against someone who does normal things, because at that point, you know, I can still outplay you, and it comes down to me reading the play.
The issue with what makes people like us burnt out on the game as well, you can't switch off. Like say you're up 4-0, right? As soon as you switch off and they turn on team press or they do something, like you can't lose focus in this game for a second. Like at least I can't. Like I don't know who can, but like I can't lose focus in this game, because if I do, I'm conceding goals left, right, and center. Like there's so many ways. Like you're, especially if you play attacking football, like you give up so much space and one through ball and they're done, and you're done for. So it just takes all your focus every game, man, and it's just very draining. Like
one through ball, one fake shot that phases through you, dude. Sometimes I'm actually like I get some, not a lot. I get some comments on YouTube telling me, "Oh, everything you concede is garbage then, and only your goals are good." I was like, I never said that, but like you cannot like it's not my fault that if I concede 30 goals, I see 20 that I'm like, how the hell did that happen? It's not my fault. And it's not even crazy, because I've had weekend leagues where I've conceded like in 30 games less than 10 goals. So statistically speaking, I've done that before. So it's not crazy to think that there's 20 goals that I'm looking at. I'm like, how the hell did that even happen? Like sometimes I don't even realize because I'm streaming and playing. Then I look back and I'm like, dude, what? Like the chain of events that needs to happen for this to happen is crazy. And this is why, like, I don't care how many step over goals you do. I don't care how many bridges goals you do. I don't care if you score 7,000 goals in 30 games and you never lose a weekend league anymore. I don't care. Like, I just don't care. And you can idolize and start salivating at anyone and saying, I want to be like this guy, I want to be like that guy. But like, to me, it doesn't matter. 75% of the pitch has been and is irrelevant and has been for like years. And you wonder why the 4-4-2 is better than 4-3-3 and 4-3-2-1 and 4-1-2-2 and 4-2-3-1, because there's no point in why would you have an extra midfielder and sacrifice a striker when the middle of the pitch is irrelevant because you can't cut a passing lane, dude? It's so stupid, bro. Like, you can play however you want, but why can't I? That's the point. I can't play how I want to play. I can't dominate the midfield.
We talked about this yesterday in the party when we said we would love to see like a just for fun, like a remake of 17 and have all these people that play brain dead passes, have them do that on FIFA 17 and see how fast they quit the game after that happens. Because I think a lot of people, especially very young people, have been conditioned to play FIFA this way. And if you do that on games like that, you're done for. Like, you can't do anything. Like, you won't get past anyone, which just blows my mind how we can transition into how devs and their decisions. It's not just because people say it's frostbite, right? Like people go, it's the engine, it's this. No, it's actual decisions they make as well. When they start making skill moves, the meta instead of the passing, that's when you get a bad football game. A skill move should be like an accessory to something. Like, it should give you an extra thing. It shouldn't be the basis of your game. Now you have to do step overs, or 90% of the people do step overs, 99% of the people do step overs, bridges. This is how they create their chances, not by passing play. And And if they do by passing play, it's the wrong passing play, but it gets rewarded.
Yep, dude. I remember in FIFA 17, and I gotta say this because a lot of people say we glorify. We don't glorify it. That game has so many issues, but it's such a logical comparison because it's a Frostbite game. It's the first of the Frostbite games, and everything that happened afterwards was worse than 17. There's no game post 17 that was better than 17, and it's just facts. You could argue plenty of games pre 17 that were better than 17, but we're not here for that. We're trying to understand
Foot Champions era, basically.
yeah, we're trying to understand the set of decisions that led us to where we are now from 17, because that takes away the variable of the game engine. Like, that even matters, because at the end of the day, they code the game how they want and they made the game how they want. And it's true, if these people would play in FIFA 17, they would be like, oh my god. And that game still had a crap load of passing assistance, like in the sense that
Yep.
it would change trajectories, so you wouldn't. But
Yep.
like compared to now, it was like pretty much manual. Everything is relative. You don't get through me, and if you tried that, I'm taking the ball off you. You're not getting it back from me, and you have second man press to get the ball back from me, and you still won't get it back from me because there's also a skill in holding the ball. It was hard to hold the ball. You couldn't turn as well. You had second man press, and I could still out possession. You know, everyone's possessioning. Everyone's a possession player. Everyone's patient. It all comes down to being Confucius, Buddhist patience, and you're golden. You're good to go, bro. Meditate 10 minutes before weekend league, and all of a sudden you're the best possession player in the world. It's so stupid, bro. There's such a big difference in the skill gap between 17 and 20. And it's not to say there isn't one in 20. I'm just saying, if you try to play 20, 19, 21 on 17, GG, bro. You're going to lose a lot.
The reason I say dev decisions, though, is because it's like a marketing machine nowadays. They just introduce new skill moves, and I don't think they've introduced one new skill move that wasn't broken. Like, why do they introduce bridges and step over? Like, surely in testing, like, people see that is absolutely broken, no? Am I tripping here? Do they just have terrible testers? I don't know, but like, you can see all these things being broken. Okay, step overs, maybe I don't know what they did, how they changed it. Like, why is that OP now? Like, how's that even work? Is it because the movement is bad? Like, I genuinely don't know how that changed from 21 to 20.
This is my theory. Like, yeah. I knew from the get-go that step overs were good because I remember even not only step overs, you can even do just a feint and an exit. And I remember thinking, wow, these exits are pretty damn good. So I knew from the get-go, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I knew that everyone would be doing 50 step overs. That's the point. But that doesn't change the fact that I knew that we'd be in something like this because the hints were there. We had a game where you still couldn't cut a passing lane. Yeah. We had a game where you still, which means that you can get the ball to the striker, and getting the ball to the striker is irrelevant. So that's issue number one. We have a game where tackling from the front is way worse than tackling from behind. From behind shouldn't even be an option, right? And then we had a game where second man press wasn't a thing. Which means again, possession was gonna be like you're gonna be desperate. We had a game where team press was still a thing, so you know in certain situations you're gonna be out pressed by someone who's doing nothing. And we had a game where offensive AI was still nowhere near as good. So off the get-go, that tells me, okay, I'm not going to be able to press someone. I'm not going to be able to cut a passing lane. I'm not going to be able to score a goal playing how I want to play. And I'm not going to be able to find 10 billion options every time I build up. It's going to be the same patterns, the same movement, the same this, same that. And so from that, it was so obvious that we'd have a game that's monotone. Then to break it, you'd have to do something similar to 20 where you scoop and bop. Now it's step over and bridge. It's like the signs are there. Now, if you add second man press, take this exact game, add insane offensive AI, and improve passing assistance, just those three changes doesn't change the bridge. It doesn't change the step over. But at the very least, it gives me a fucking avenue that is my own avenue, and I don't have to play your stupid style. You can still do your step overs, but arguably we never even get to that point because people don't even try because they're like, why would I? I have so many passing options. I have so many runs. I have so many this. You can team press. That's still an option, but at the very least, I have my own avenue, and that's my theory. Like, that's why a lot of people get mad. Stop saying you knew this would happen. I'm like, I never said I did, but I gave you everything that was a problem at the start, and now those problems are, like, in hindsight, they are causes that makes everything worse, and it blocks out any other avenue that is not the meta.
I agree. I agree.
But based on the dev decisions, yeah, it's a complete dev decision, and it's mind numbing because at the end of the day, it's not my game. It's not your game. The problem is the lying, bro. It's lying at this point. You're giving false hope. Don't stop giving false hope. Stop saying passing is reworked. Stop saying say it. Say it the way it is. Look, guys, we need the average player to be entertained. This is gonna be the scale gap. If you want to be the best of the world, shot cancel, step over, bridge.
Oh, I
Period.
forgot canceling, man. Oh no, I forgot skill move canceling. Oh,
Oh, this is what we wanted to
that's
say.
yeah. This is it. Yeah, go
Let's
ahead.
go. All right, guys, we were sat in the party last night, and we were talking about it. We were talking about to this other guy who's like asking, so how do you cancel a croqueta in real life? And our answer was, you don't. You
By
cannot.
falling flat on your face, man. That's how you cancel.
The way a croqueta cancels in FIFA is that you start the croqueta mid-motion, the croqueta stops. So what essentially happens is you don't have the final animation where you're like if you start the croqueta from right foot to left foot, when you cancel it, you never have the left foot trapping the ball. So the ball just keeps going and you all of a sudden stop the momentum and you dribble normally. That's physically impossible. The comparison I made is that to cancel a croqueta that way in real life is the equivalent of in real life jumping up, and while you're midair, you decide to cancel your jump and you teleport back down. It's impossible. There's gravity. If you jump up, you accept that you will go back down. And so until you go back down and you touch the floor and you land again, there is nothing you can do. The same way anyone, dude, the croqueta was my move when I played football. It was my move. It was a
Real life
reactionary
football.
real life football.
Yeah.
You dribble, people come at you, and you just swoop away. But the thing is, once you start the croqueta, you can't end it because you initiate the croqueta with your right foot, and while the ball is moving, you shifted all your weight to the left foot. So you're stuck on there. And you're waiting for the ball to come back, and then you can reshift it back to the right. What they're doing in FIFA is you have the ball on your right foot, you shift it to the left, and somehow you can cancel everything while your left foot is supposed to be planted on the ground. It's not possible. It's not possible. You
You know
cannot
what
do
the
that.
issue? You know what the issue now is? Like they try to talk about like realism and taking over all these things, like trying to be realistic in that, and then they introduce skill canceling. Like and they advertise it as well. It's not like I thought maybe it's a glitch that they didn't know about. Like they tried to have canceling for other things. This was intentional. They're literally advertising this on their main Twitter accounts and whatever. Like, how is this a thing, man? What does this have to do with football? Like it's like galactic football at this point. Like I
Dude,
just don't get it, man.
you can cancel a rainbow flick. That's right.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
imagine? Like
McGeady
mid
McGeady spins
you can
halfway. You just
cancel
turn like you just teleport the other way. Like it
the
looks so,
elastico, man.
and the animations that happen, it's just you're breaking the game, and they want this. This is what they want. This is what we mean by dev decisions, man. Like I don't know, man. It really blows my mind. It
Dude,
has nothing to do with football anymore.
nothing. You can cancel an elastico. Literally, no, it's not. You know what? A canceled elastico in real life is just you flicking the ball right. That's it. It's you don't like that, but that's not even canceling it. It doesn't exist. It's something that's not possible. In FIFA, you do an elastico, flick it right, you're flicking it left, and all of a sudden you stop. Like what? That doesn't work unless you have a magnet on your
The
foot.
issue is apart from how ridiculous the whole concept is in itself is what it does to defenders, because like the defenders glitch out too because that happens. Like, and this is why I don't get what is their intention. Like why did they introduce this? Do you even understand? Like I genuinely don't get, like, unless they want to break their own game, like why would you do this? What's fun about this? What's good
I
about this?
think I think that the reason they're doing this is in their mind they're like, this adds a skill gap. this does this, right? Shot cancel. You have to be fast with your fingers, and you have to be super high reflex, and you got to have coordination and dexterity with your fingers, like whatever.
Don't
And I'm
kill
like,
me, man.
right. This is my mind, right? Oh yeah, cancel this and this. But I'm like, this is not football. I'm like, why would you do this when I promise you, focus on the fundamentals.
The thing is,
Shift.
though, if like this is why I don't buy that, because if they're looking for a skill gap, then why did they say that FIFA 17 was too difficult?
Right, because they're trying to make both people happy, right? They're trying to make it easy for someone to play the game and just pass blindly from one end of the pitch
Yeah,
to the
but
other
then
so
you
they're going to
can't
get
talk
their
about
goal.
that's fine. That's fine if that's your decision, but then don't talk about skill gap, right?
Yeah, and then
Like,
they're trying
you
at the
can't
same
you
time as
can't
that.
have your cake and eat it too. Like it just doesn't work.
They're trying to make it so like the pros of the world can, even if you can pass into their box, it doesn't matter because they got team press to activate, they got high defensive depth that automatically does offside traps for you, they got they'll just Rabona you, fake croqueta you through the pitch, and you'll be like, well, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean? It's a different
Yep.
level. But like the point is, why are they shifting the skill gap of a game like FIFA into a mechanical aspect? This isn't Fortnite, bro. This is FIFA. Like, Fortnite is a very mechanical based esport at the very least, and that's putting it lightly because there's still a lot of in-game sense you're going to need. It's not enough to be the best mechanical player. But in FIFA, like, there's no decision making relevant. It's all
You
mechanics at
don't
this
need
point.
vision in this game anymore. All you need is
No.
mechanics, like you said. Like you don't need to be able to see certain things. Like all you have to do is just learn these mechanics, repeat them, get good at them, and that's it. That's pretty much
It's
it.
It's bullshit, dude. All you gotta go is get to the edge of the box to your striker, and then you start doing half drawbacks into fake shot stop elasticos. You're doing ISO play, dude. This is football. This is not how it works, man. There's triangles, there's base, there's decoys, there's coverage, there's diagonal runs, there's switching, there's overcoming 2v3 situations in your favor and against. This is all irrelevant because you're always looking for the 1v1. You're isolating. This isn't basketball, bro. This is football. This is fucking bullshit. Release the contract immediately.
Yeah, yeah. I guess we wrap it up with that, man. That's a good one to end it on.
For sure, for sure. We'll wrap it up there. Few notes is that, as usual, guys, you know, if you watch on YouTube, we upload on the new YouTube channel. We're almost at 300 subscribers there, so keep subbing. Road to 1K as well. Put comments down below of any topics you guys want us to discuss. Review us
Tweet
on
us.
Spotify, iTunes, tweet us at Stallion Sama or at Persian7, all that good stuff. And I don't know, did I miss anything?
Nope.
Cool. Well, peace out.